For Kenya to go where we want, we have to invest at the bottom of the bottom. The primary schools are 23,000 in Kenya. That is where we will invest. That's where we want to pick the best.
Sports mtaani tunawasuka maneno michezo from the eye of the people. Henry back at it again with another video. Today we're gonna talk about the gap that's killing development of sports in Kenya. If you're here for the first time, kindly hit that subscribe button so that when we have another video, you are notified when it comes out. Like and subscribe, share so that we can reach 100 subscribers. Thank you so much to those 28 subscribers that we have so far. But we pray that we keep on growing. Let's get into it. So which gap are we talking about that exists, that's killing development of sports in Kenya? Do you know about it? In my opinion, Kenya has one of the most advanced youth sporting development program in Africa, if not the world. And this is something that the Kenya education system has embraced. Extracurriculum activities in its structure. So you find that in the Kenyan education system, sports has been embedded as part and parcel of Kenya's education system. So you'll find like during the curriculum, when it's being drawn at the beginning of the year, the Ministry of Education will come with a program and say that during this year we have the first term games and the second term games, and they're going to be played on this particular period of time or this date, and these are going to be the venues where they're going to be played, and so everybody is involved in this structure. In primary and high school, the Kenya Primary Sports Association, and in secondary, the Kenya Secondary School Sports Associations have been given the mandate to organize and run these sporting events from the primary level to high school. So other than the ministry that gives a guideline on how and when these events are to be participated, there's an organization which has been put in place to ensure that they plan, they run, and they award participants in this tournament. So it's an all-inclusive event that involves all primary schools in Kenya and all secondary schools in Kenya. And the structure is kind of, you start from the preliminary matches, then in primary you move to the zonal level, you move to the district level or the county level, you move to the county level, then you get to the national. Man, same as the college level. But in the college level now, it comes in terms of particular schools. When they win both in the divisional level to the county level, those particular teams go ahead and play at the national level representing their region. Then other than that, subsequently, for the last maybe a few years, we've had this thing we call the regional games, the East African regional games, where winners in particular sports from those countries, they conglomerate together in a major tournament in East Africa that they represent the country. What a structure. If you have that, and that's what I mean when I say Kenya probably has one of the most consistent and advanced sporting program that has been embedded or accommodated by the education system in Kenya. And this has happened for years, since time immemorial. When I was young, we used to participate in this. We have basketball, hockey, we have handball, rugby sevens, we have the cross country and swimming. So those are the games that are participated during the first term games. Then we have the second term games. We used to refer to as ball games. So the second term games, that's where we have football, is played during this period. Volleyball, netball, rugby 15s is played, and the racket games. And when we say racket games, we mean table tennis, badminton, lawn tennis. Those are the racket games. So these are played during the second term of the education calendar. The system is the same. The structure of the tournaments are the same. If it's in primary, you start from the zonal stage, you grow to the national. If it's in high school, you start also from the region where you come from, you grow, you go to the county games, and if you win, any team that wins in a particular sport represents the area they come from, and they grow to the national level. So that's why, Aki, I say, if you think that is not something that is to be emulated or to be proud about, then I don't know. Tell me in the comments there, do you think Kenya has one of the most consistent and well-structured sporting development structure in Africa, if not East Africa? So this has been made possible from the Ministry of Education, like I articulated before. So the ministry gives the guidelines and spearheads. Then we have the associations, the Kenya Primary and Secondary Associations of Sports that run the events. Yeah, so this happens. But when it comes to you've graduated from high school, there's a gap that exists that kills all the development that has happened subsequently growing up this ladder. And I say this consistently because it is something that's there, and it's in our sports. It's killing sports. I know of several good sportsmen and women who were good in primary. They became better because of the structure in high school. But after graduation from high school, there is no platform for transition where this talent is nurtured or picked, identified, and transition to another level where it either becomes professionalized or it's polished to ensure these people have another platform to excel. And I'll give you the basic example. And this is something that might be disputed. But the competition in primary and high school are so involving and offers no room for somebody who has a relationship with sport not to participate, because the event is there. Once you finish high school, people transition to university colleges, and then there are people who do not graduate or do not score to go to this institution, so they end up starting businesses and all that. With all this good job that has been done by the education structure to develop sports to that level, there need to be an entry point that offers a platform where if you're a good player or if you're a good team, you have a platform where you can excel or push your career forward, either to join a professional club or to get a scholarship to pursue your education and all that. But in Kenya, this is what happened. Our education system, the university, does not recognize sports achievements or excellence in their selection. What does that mean? It means if you're good in sports, when you're being selected to join the university, the only consideration that is given is on academics. And that's how you are placed to pursue a particular course: law, medicine, IT, anthropology, name it all. But there's no focus on sporting excellence. This means that the curriculum for the university is not tweaked to give chance or potential to somebody who's good in a particular sport to pursue his love for sports while they're doing their study. The programs are not modeled to embrace sports. So what happens is when somebody transitions from high school to university, because the programs do not give time for you to perform or to participate in sports, there's a laissez-faire kind of a relationship. When these good players get there, they focus more on education and forget about their sporting prowess. And that is basically because the system that they find there does not embrace or does not give sports a chance, not even a priority. Just like in high school or primary, it is structured in the education system, so there's time for sports. So that's one reason why that gap exists, and it kills sports. So it ends up after during the 4 years that these people are in our universities, they hardly put focus on sports. Then the talent fades away or die. So way back before, a long time ago, there used to be systems that would mitigate for such kind of a setup. But I'm not saying all universities do this. This is notoriously in public universities. We have certain private universities, and I'll give example, Strathmore, which has an excellence in business studies and one of the top-notch university currently in Kenya. We have Nazarene University. We have United States International University, USIU, and we have Daystar. These 4 or 5 universities, they've embraced sports in the kind of way that they tap talent from schools and they give them 4-year scholarship to pursue their education, but at the same time involved in sports in those universities. Strathmore is notorious for this because they embrace the excellence. When you see the Strathmore, both hockey, male and women's team or ladies team, they're in the top leagues in the country when it comes to hockey and basketball. So that's one university. Nazarene and Daystar, those are example of a few universities in Kenya who have come up with a system to embrace and accommodate for sporting talent and prowess as you pursue education. So they're trying to mitigate on the issue of the gap that exists. But because they are few and the chances are limited, it offers no remedy to the broad existence, because there are so many players out there who wants to transition to university and colleges, but because the chances are limited, maybe 5 per university each year, you can never offer scholarship to everybody. The impact is so marginal. So that gap that exists, if we can find a way to embrace it by involving more universities, especially the public universities, to embrace such kind of a system, the gap will be mitigated. But at the same time, the Kenya Association, it's called Kenya University Sports Association, KUSA, which is a replica of maybe the primary sports association or the Kenya Secondary Sports Association. It is poorly managed in such a way that they've not put the foot down to ensure that they kind of put a case for sports in colleges. Their tournaments are poorly attended, poorly organized. They don't bring in a lot of sponsorship that would make a tournament be so attractive to motivate and inspire people to participate in. They run a league that probably teams miss playing and all that. These are things that contribute to that gap that exists. Lakini, it can still be fixed. But also I put a blame on clubs. Our clubs, both, name it, rugby, soccer, and volleyball, those clubs, they do not encourage transition by scouting for talent in high school, such that by the time these young lads finish or graduate in high school, they are absorbed into the clubs. And at some point I don't blame them, because even our local clubs, they don't have enough resources to even employ for scouts to go around the country and try to find out who's a good player, when is he finishing school, can he come for trials and all that. They rely on a philosophy that if you're a good player, you need to go look for them, not them coming to look for you. So many people, you finish school, you end up in Bungoma, and you don't have any kind of financial muscle to travel. You find that these people get back home and they get into farming and they forget about sports. So those are some of the key issues that make uh, uh, that transition to clubs to be almost next to impossible. But at the same time, these clubs also rely so much on old talent that already exists in their system. So you find that a player, I've seen this, like young lads, when they come for trials, they're not offered an opportunity because they're already established players who already know the system, and the clubs would want to keep them for keeps. So that's another thing. The national team also has let us down and led to this gap, because the national team is a platform that's supposed to be for everyone who deserves to be there. Extraordinary talent that has top-notch performance. But in our national team, the structure, you'll find that kuna culture ubeste. Like somebody once got into the national team, or sneaked into the national team, ubeste, like coach ananijua, federation recommends somebody. Once they get there, it's so hard to remove them from the team. They keep on circulating or rotating around those same players, year in, year out, So it doesn't offer an opportunity for this gap to be bridged, because in transition, annually, there are players who come out from high school or from colleges. They need to get into sports, and there has to be a platform that offers them that opportunity. So that gap exists because lack of that opportunity to get into that. But lastly, also, I'd like to say that the existence of Kenya Academy of Sports, yeah. So there's something called Talanta Hela initiative that the current administration brought it on board to try and identify, nurture, and monetize sporting talent in Kenya. So the objective is to mediate or to try and alleviate sports amongst the youth. So the issue of this gap is why this was created. At this moment in time, there's nobody who's focused on the development of this talent that's being lost after graduation from high school. So we hope that the Kenya Academy of Sport, through Talanta Hell initiative, will come on board and try to mitigate on this. This is Henry, and if you think this content is something that you need to relate with or would help aid the development of sports, kindly give me a like, subscribe, and share this content so that you can help grow, market sports in Kenya, East Africa, and the continent as a whole. My name is Henry. Remember, we said here we highlight the most achievements or good things that are happening in sports in the motherland.